Hi everyone, it's Melody and welcome back to my channel. So, Gen Z is truly a young demographic, mostly under 26, I think, that will eventually be interior designers, architects, and bosses to design professionals in the future. So, it is really important to hear them out. And since I know it is not what the older generations are designed to do, so I came up with the idea of making this video for everyone, especially we like the older generation, we antiques, to help getting to know them better, figure them out, and sort of embrace their aesthetic and learn from their lifestyle choices, I guess. Gen Z has definitely brought in new looks for homes, and not just one, but several. They are shaking up the scene, testing out the old trends, and doing things their own way, which is really cool. When you enter a Gen Z's room, you will find a trove of unique items, from 70s pattern mixing to funky light fittings, flower pattern stuff, Doc Marten shoes, funny coats, and things like that. So for a decade, we had seen a lot of neutral colors, grays, super simple, functional, and minimal design choices. But design trends, be it decor or fashion, evolve rapidly, and newer trends emerge even as we are speaking. And you know who the drivers are? The next generation. So unlike millennials, Gen Z is going for something more lively and out there, and you can see that in their fashion and lifestyle choices as well. Like, they're all about expressing themselves, being unique, and trying out funky colors, wild patterns, and cool shapes. So basically, Gen Z is flipping the script, and they're not just decorating spaces to make them look good or wearing cool clothes just for the sake of it, but they are making a statement. They are just loving these decorative items that stand out with their unique and whimsical shapes. It is now all about adding some fun and excitement to a space, but we are kidding ourselves if we think this trend is only limited to mushroom forms and squiggly mirrors. This generation has shown to have a taste for unique and eclectic design choices, which sort of values individuality and self-expression. We used to have a season or two to sit with a trend, and now the various cores come and go and things feel visually played out faster when we've seen them everywhere. And the life cycle of a trend is definitely much shorter now due to that bloody TikTok. So the cool stuff the Gen Zers are into these days are mostly inspired by the past. It's a matter of how far back. So here we're talking about retro and postmodern vibes in the 80s mostly. So this trend is all about going for things that have a quirky and playful look. The trends they embrace often include a mix of styles, like combining vintage elements with sort of modern references, so they basically have their own hallmarks of the whole aesthetic. It's been quite a stretch of time where millennials dominated the design, decor, and fashion scene. I mean, remember the color palette of grays and beige, which was coupled with an ultra minimal aesthetic? We are still not fully recovered from that. Of course, it makes perfect sense that the next generation wants to shake things up a bit. And where back in time exactly did they look for fresh ideas? Vibrant trends of the past, 70s and 80s. They especially got their inspiration from the Memphis group. So, to just give you a background, this group was an Italian design collective that was known for its avant-garde and eclectic style in the 1980s. So imagine if you're an audacious 19-year-old feeling like you're unstoppable, I guess you would do the same and you would take your inspiration from them as well. And let me give you a fact. So Ettore Sottsass, the designer of this mirror, was an Italian architect and designer who was basically a key figure in the Memphis group. Then, surprise, surprise, that we're seeing this bloody mirror everywhere. So, fast forward to today, we see more of the designer's signature in Gen Z's decor and fashion, which was using bold colors, geometric shapes and unconventional patterns like check it. Exactly what this generation admires the most. They want their space to feel comfy and welcoming without being too much. And while Pinterest remains a popular platform for creating mood boards filled with design inspiration, especially for millennials, TikTok is the new kid on the block. Gen Zs get their endless inspiration from short-form video content, learning how to mix and match styles to create their own unique decor and fashion segments. So we're seeing their individuality through their clothes and hobbies and the way they decorate their spaces. Their choices really tell you a lot about who they are and what they're into. They are not like their parents or the elder generations who tend to play it safe with their style. Instead, they're all about mixing things up. You'll see them rocking everything from funky prints to quirky accessories, always adding their own twist to the latest trends. Whether they're channeling vintage vibes or trying out something totally new, they're not afraid to experiment and have fun with their look and space. Their fashion journey is all about expressing themselves and staying true to who they really are. And I think we got to admire that. I mean, that kind of confidence and individuality, I really like it. This generation is also very big on climate change and sustainability. I mean, saving planet is basically their middle label, which is not really surprising because at the end of the day, they are following the millennials' lead in terms of sustainability because millennials were the generation who started this conversation. So they have grown up with these sort of concerns, and these values are I would say instilled in them. For that matter, they love reviving old furniture, handmade pieces, and using viral hacks to personalize their spaces. They're super mindful of their shopping habits and tend to invest in quality pieces. Most of the folks that I met from this generation spend their money on things that they genuinely care about rather than just following the trends for the sake of it. They've been brought up with these values. So instead of getting all confused, they know that they've got options. They take their time and really think about practicality. And it's not just about their decor, it's about their fashion too. They're pretty clued up when it comes to brands and stuff. But just, 10, 15, 20 years ago, luxury fashion was still all about luxury. It was strictly for celebrities, not for everyone. Like this exclusive club reserved only for those at a certain level in society. We thought they had this social class and style, but now it's all been micro-sized and everyone has access to it. We can all afford it, which was a new concept for our generation. But this generation, they have grown up with this sort of lifestyle thing. So yeah, they are way more practical in their shopping habits, which is pretty awesome. They are starting to have their own homes now, and the oldest is probably around like 25, 6, and they are renting or buying places of their own. They want to decorate their spaces to reflect their personal style, and it kind of matches their fashion sense. They like to keep up with trends, but they are not dumb enough to switch their style every time a new trend pops up. They buy pieces that they like and are totally cool with thrifting. That is one thing that I've really noticed about this generation, and it's pretty impressive. They don't mind buying vintage or secondhand clothes, and they're so proud of it. You can hop on YouTube and find a ton of videos about thrifting and how proud they are of their finds. Our generation, on the other hand, did not want anyone to know if we bought anything secondhand. I mean, if is a keyword here. If we bought anything secondhand, you thought it wasn't classy or something. I don't know, weird. Yeah, our generation was weird. But now things are changing and things are all sort of connected. This generation is leading the change and they're teaching us to be more like them. DIY and upcycling is another thing that they truly love. I mean, creativity was put in full force during COVID. Like, people literally started taking their skills to their walls. sometimes successful, most of the time not. They're all about upcycling old furniture, giving them a new lease on life. And Etsy is a treasure trove for handmade decor that adds to a personal touch for them. I thought give you a heads up about that too. So I'm not sure if it's the love of nostalgia or DIY or both. Gen Z definitely loves a good throwback. Vintage finds and furniture from the 90s, 70s, 80s are making a comeback. They seamlessly blend these nostalgic elements with modern pieces and create a look that is both fresh and familiar. And not only in their decor, they also love nostalgic clothing, nostalgic games, movies, and soundtracks. Gen Zers are showing a lot of interest in blending traditional patterns and decor with modern elements to create unique, stylish environments within the home. Gen Zers love referencing MCM home decor trends, whether that is a minimalist take or more eccentric home design tastes. 70s oranges and browns are coming back alongside pile rugs, and that all makes sense for this thrifty generation. So gone are the days of white walls and minimalist furniture. This generation craves color and personality in their outfit and their spaces, but in a smart way, just enough to create a cheerful and inviting atmosphere or black clothes outfit. Another popular trend among this generation is called Avant Basic. Have you ever heard about it? So Avant Basic combines the innovation of avant fashion with the availability of basic design. So it works to create spaces that are fun, whimsical, and very livable, like balances between clean Danish-inspired design and sort of the retro cool vibe of the 60s or 80s. The result is retro-inspired and gives off a carefree, summery vibe. This trend thrives with pastel colors, especially when used as pops of color in white spaces. Much of the furniture of this trend focuses on postmodern lines and chunky modern pieces that give the eye plenty to look at and add a wonderful sense of flow to the room. And because it works like a charm in standard rented flats without the hassle of repainting walls, this trend is catching on with young interior design fans. So this Avant Basic is not a minor trend really. It's everywhere on TikTok and Instagram these days, which makes it pretty darn familiar if you ask me. It's clean, bright, and a whole different kind of hipster compared to what millennial interior designers made popular. You could even call it a more grown-up version of a cottagecore, which is a surprisingly cozy twist on modern style. And we also see that they go for a homemade look, like natural materials are a big hit with Gen Z, and since their style has this relaxed aesthetic in an organic way, we essentially see things like rattan furniture, earthenware, woven wool art like macrame, and hanging plants more these days. This whole organic, natural vibe sort of is a conversation started for boho, which is, I think, having a comeback at the moment. So it's like we're seeing a new take on boho emerging. We even spotted it on the runway this season. We saw that Chloe reintroduced bohemian chic for fall 2024. For millennials, it was the hipster look, and let's not forget about the classic grand millennial look. But now what Gen Z calls aesthetic is all about spaces that have personality and style, and the same goes to their fashion sense too. I mean, this idea is so broad that you just can't pin it down. One minute they're styling their rooms with retro posters and neon lights, and the next they're wearing oversized hoodies and combat boots. Ultimately, Gen Z is all about embracing individuality with their you do you attitude towards style. Where should we start from? They have been scarring us with their ridiculous style choices for a while now. Psychedelic patterns apparently is the new cool kid thing. That absurd tilted pattern that you sort of have to look at like, I know, my neck too. I mean, seriously, it sort of feels like they are trying to get hypnotized. These patterns are really hard to miss, as they are everywhere. in their decor, in their fashion. I mean, wow, look at that. We all also know about their obsession with squiggly things like wiggly mirrors, bubble candles. They are all about enjoying the fun, postmodern vibe. So psychedelic, checkered, and floral patterns are really hot right now. Another natural motif that Gen Z loves are mushrooms, a favorite of the cottagecore and fairy garden. Mushrooms have begun popping up all over products, clothing, art, and design, like everything. But earth isn't the only inspiration when it comes to aesthetics for Gen Zs. Astrological and witchy themes are also inspiring Gen Z in their home decor these days. So in home decor, these themes come to life through decor items shaped like the sun, star, prints of the moon phases, like this. When it comes to lighting, it is really hard to find a social media influencer without a set of LED lights spanning the whole length of their room or coloring their spaces in a multicolored fantasy. I mean, they're obsessed. Also, let me remind you that they are TikTok generation, so you probably could find a ring light somewhere in their room because they want their space to be multifunctional and also look great on camera. So let's do a recap. Gen Z is a generation that thrives on social self-expression. They are the next generation of buyers and they are today's tastemakers. These generations got some serious stuff going on, totally having their own. Sort of makes me realize just how important it has been for people to express themselves through their taste and style. That is something that all generations, past and present, have in common. So you're a fan or not, Gen Z is bringing a fresh approach, a fresh perspective to design, decor, fashion, and lifestyle. They're saying no to minimalist white walls and embracing bold colors, playful patterns, and maximalist expression that is even cooler than the maximalist trend from our old generation. So it'll be interesting to see how they're shaking things up and making their mark in the world of design, home decor, and fashion. Thanks for tuning in. If you have any questions or want to share your thoughts, feel free to drop them in the comments below. Share this with your friends. See you in the next video. Bye.